Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be using some instructions that I have to use the background eraser tool to adjust the background and isolate it and change the color on this picture here. Now the picture quality itself is not great. If you open up in Bridge, you can see that the photo is only 72 ppi, which means the pixels, the more you edit the photo, the more broken up it kind of looks. If you zoom in here, you can really see those blurred edges. I do like to work with the image first, a little zoomed in, just so that you can see all these small areas that you want to get into using the background eraser tool, especially when you get areas like this that are nearly the same color, and when the light is so bright on the skin, it will blend over. So you want to be able to see the big picture. So here we're going to go hold the left button here and select your background eraser tool. Now the settings that are suggested here are already set. Tolerance to 30. Excuse me. You can also see here that the layers have already been separated. Normally you would take an image and have to create that background copy or that solid color. So here, instead of leaving it the background white because it's already so light, I'm going to go ahead and make my background color. So I'm going to go down here and go to solid color. And your RGB values are already set, 33, 141, 205. Select OK. And bring your image to the top. Now you can adjust the size of your target here to make it as big or as small as you'd like. So I'm going to start with it large. Actually, I think I'm going to start with it small, and I'm going to go around the edges here. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the bigger it is, the more it blends over. And I kind of want to start and go around the edge of the person here, just so that it makes it a little easier to get those bigger areas afterwards. So I'm going to start here, just selecting all the way around. See how it blended over there? I'm going to Command Z to undo that. I'll come back later with a brush tool if I need to in some of those areas and touch that up. So you get the idea. I'm gonna do this all the way around the image. Just filling in those blank spots. Really get in those small areas if you can. I'll increase my size here just to show you kind of how that works. And I'm dragging my color around, filling in the spots. Now when you start blending over, you want to slow down and see, because I was dragging, it undid all of it. So if I keep my mouse clicks a little shorter, it'll let me work a little bit better. Let's see. I just want to keep it off of her as much as possible. Now when the color definition in the rest of the picture is darker, it's a little bit easier to manipulate the photo, because then you can really just move this tool around. But without adjusting the color settings on the image itself, This is a quick way to just change your background. Just filling in some gaps here. I'm going to pause and come back when I have this isolated. So now you can see that I have a majority of the background colored. I'm still working with the background eraser tool, so I'm going to make that tool smaller. And I'm going to go around these edges a little more closely, but when you decrease the size of the tool, it doesn't tend to blend so far over the lighter areas. Now I'll go back with a brush tool when I'm done using the eraser tool, and I'll try to blend some of those not straight lines a little to kind of make it look a little more realistic, less photoshopped. Ultimately, I feel like that's the goal. But especially in areas like this, these shorts are blending so much into this background that these little small areas can be very time consuming, especially if you're a perfectionist. See, there's little white spots here, so I'll go back with the brush tool and just touch those up. There's some areas in here that didn't quite fill in because the same thing as the shorts, the bike here blends heavily with the background. And I'm definitely not trying to make it perfect, but I do want it to look a little more realistic. Not so spotty. There's an area in here. Now I'm going to go get the eyedropper tool and pick some color up here. You want to make sure that your whole inner circle is that your background color matches. Then I'm going to go to my brushes here and make sure I'm on brush tool. And I want to just adjust the softness. I don't want it to be too hard because the pixels stand out so much in that haziness already. But I'm going to use it just like a paintbrush, just like you would if you were painting on canvas, and kind of just brush slightly on those edges. And I like to move away from it with each stroke. Just kind of even out those edges there. Same thing here. Just touching up those little white spots. And you could go and you could edit this all day long. But I think that takes care of most of the background. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to merge these layers just to make those changes permanent. So I'm going to hold the Shift key and select, right click, and merge layers. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I have a folder just for this week. I'm going to go ahead and save it there. I'm going to leave it as Woman Bicyclist for now. Maybe I'll put an underscore here because this isn't my final project, my finished project. I'm going to save. All right, the next in the instructions wants you to either change the color of the shirt or kind of manipulate the shirt. I've done this in a previous version with a pattern. So I left the shirt color and I played with the patterns. So to do this, I just went down here and went to pattern, and then I went in here and went over her. But before I did that, I had to create another layer because I've already merged this one. So I'm going to create a duplicate layer. I'm going to leave it as a copy, and I'm going to be working on that copy. You can select anything here. The last one I selected a polka dot. This one I think I'll use that blue. I'm going to click OK. Just like before, we're going to bring this background copy forward. That's what we're going to be working on. And we're going to use that, and we're going to just kind of color this in here. Nope. I'm still on that. Let's see here. There we go. And just everywhere that there's that purple color, I'm just going to change that. Now see, I don't really like this blue because we did the background blue, and I don't want to do like with the white and blend it too much. So I'm going to revert back here. I'm going to undo my changes. And I'm going to go and select a different pattern here. I'm actually going to delete this layer. And let's try that again. Let's maybe try a different one. Let's do yellow. Make sure we're on our tool here. Yep, I like that a little bit better. And see, the more you play with it, I could increase the size here. Because our shirt's such a dark color, it may work a little bit better. There we go. Get in some of those tiny little areas. But it's interesting to leave some of that purple color coming out in there because it kind of gives it a little bit more of a feature. Now, some of this blended on the bike, but you kind of get the idea there. You could sit and play with this. You can change it into a solid color. You could gradient fill it in with different colors and make it look tie-dye. But ultimately, that's the goal, is to manipulate the photo. I'm going to zoom back out here, and there's your original size. I'm going to File, Save As. I'm going to file it as My Woman Bicyclist. I had saved one previously. And save. Okay, and that's it. You're done. Thanks for watching.